it's going to get a lot uglier here in the next 2 to 6 weeks. But again, that's why we're launching our second fund is to capitalize on this opportunity. I think this is a prime time to get exposure over the next 6 weeks because I think 2019 and early 2020 are going to be some of the most lucrative times in the history of crypto. Right. So anyway, so we're looking at some Bitcoin here, and then let's take a look. This is also very interesting. So this is open short contracts on Bitfinex. And kind of what we saw is you can chart this just like any other chart. And this is, you can see open short interest kind of got crushed. And Bitcoin price didn't really pop. Well, look what happened here. We saw a big spike in short interest. And now, to me, we met this resistance level. I think this thing is going to go higher. I'm expecting Bitcoin short interest to come here and maybe even break these highs. And that's going to be a catalyst for sending Bitcoin dollar spot price lower, right? Because these are inversely related. So this is really key to understand. Not too many people watch this open short interest, but it can be kind of the key to the castle if you know what you're looking at. And again, these are 4-hour bars. And kind of the same thing, what's been interesting, so down here below is Ethereum. Again, Ethereum shorts, they're kind of leading the charge. You can make an argument this is kind of a very weak, ugly head and shoulders, but again, I think we're kind of setting up to make new highs here. Nice little double bottom, and I think we're going to grind higher.
So
So,
let's take a look at the greatest digital asset that's been created thus far, which is XRP, obviously.
well, yeah, let's do a couple things. So, again, the algo that we run got us out of everything on what day was this? 15th and the
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
14th and the 13th. So you can see we started getting short signals actually on the 11th and even as early on the 9th on some of these assets.
nice.
So that's been real beneficial, and it's kind of nice to have those leading indicators kind of driving into the market. So what I'd like to do is, yeah, we can talk about Ripple real fast, and then dive into several other assets. I'd like to go over about
Mike, don't make me correct you on
XRP. Yeah.
it.
It's just habit.
No, was wrong.
So we'll dive into XRP here, and I'd like to cover several assets tonight. But again, XRP, and you'll notice this that we're seeing a very similar pattern across the entire space. But I'd have to say technically, XRP has been the strongest. So you can kind of see late September we kind of formed some weakness against it. We are holding this big trend line from way back here, right? So this is a key trend line that I've been watching, and it held. It held in late September, and that was key. And that's part of the reason I think we saw this rally. Obviously, there was big fundamental news out, right? But this holding technically got a lot of guys long, and this was the initial move, and then this is kind of the move of the headline. And you can kind of see the highs here. It ran all the way to 79 cents. I mean, you're
Hmm.
talking about a 2-3x move in a matter of 3 days. And so then if you look at this kind of where we are now, right? We're trading roughly 50 cents. We're kind of right trading along these Fibonacci levels. And I'm drawing these Fibonacci's just from the April highs to the September lows. And what I'm seeing is I like this support level, roughly 42.5 cents. Another support level, roughly 37.5 cents. And then, you have this top side resistance here, what I'm seeing. And that's, it's going to be dynamic as you move through time, but roughly 68 cents. Some other key levels that I'm watching is this 56 cents mark, right? If we break that, I think we open it up to roughly 63. And then you break through 63, you're going to head up to 79, and then we reevaluate. We look at these higher targets from there. But me personally, I really like Ripple. I think if you're owning Ripple right now, you probably have to have your stop either at or below this trend line, or using this horizontal line that kind of lines up with this Fibonacci level. Roughly, I'd probably say 41 cents because the big level is 42. So you just want to put a sliver below that big level. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I know you're a big XRP guy, Tommy. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Um, no, I mean, you know, this is why I have you. I don't. actively trade this stuff. I have my long positions as of, a year ago when it was 19 cents, and I'm not touching them for 3 to 5 years. So, but it's not surprising to me. Like my whole goal, and I've told this to people before, before they've invested in XRP, I was like, you should probably get in before XRapid goes live. Because the thing that I don't want to time in the market is, number one, speculation, but speculation coupled with utility. So when you actually have companies using the blockchain to send value and you've got buyers on both sides, essentially, that's just not something that I'm willing to time, because I think there's going to be, the price is going to be driven probably 50-50, or, the utility's having a small impact on it right now. But as time goes on and more companies adopt the technology because it is superior, I think you're going to see the utility, outweigh the speculation. And that's the problem I have with actively investing in XRPs, because I don't know when those things happen. Now, you obviously have your technical analysis background. I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not just technical analysis, right? I've been trading for over a decade professionally, so that definitely helps. But here's the thing: if you're just trading off fundamentals, it's very easy to get too cute, because, right? What if you don't get in here and you're trying to wait for a little bit better price and then it breaks out to the upside? Well, then now you're sitting there like, oh man, I should have bought it, lower, and now it's trading 63s. Do I wait for it to get to 56? Well, the market might not let you back in. So if you like this on a fundamental basis, like, I think you're doing the right thing. You just build a position, you kind of layer in, and you say, you know what? My time horizon is 3 to 5 years, and, I'll put a 50% trailing stop on my position. If this thing goes to $10, I know worst case scenario I'm covering at 5 or whatever it may be. Because it is possible to get too cute and kind of screw yourself out of the trade, right? And that's a great point, Tommy, is these things are incredibly hard to time in terms of when news breaks, et cetera, because if you're asleep during Asia and news breaks during Asia, you're going to miss the trade. It could be trading 100% higher by the time you wake up and say, oh, I need to layer in my trade. So yeah, I'd say for the average retail guy who's looking to get into XRP, yeah, you can day trade it, but I'd say it's important to have at least some kind of position on long term that you're kind of building through time. If you're in crypto, you generally want some sort of, whether it's 20%, 10%, or 50% of your portfolio exposed. Yeah, are you going to have swings? Yeah, is there going to be some drawdowns? Yes, but if your view is fundamentally that I think things are going to trade higher over time, then that's something you're going to have to live with and bear with. And I think you do a good job of that, and you understand the risk involved.
Well, one other thing I'd like to say is, if you have long positions and you're in it long enough, these market downturns don't phase you as much. I mean, I got in 2017 in April, about my first XRP when it was about 5 cents. And then I really hit it hard when it dropped back. It went up to like 45, 48, and then it dropped back down to 19, and I hit it really hard there.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy I did, because it's just one of those things where as time goes on, I mean, you're seeing an increase over time.
Well,
and it's just a long game. It's a long game.
And here's the most important thing. As we dive through more of these cryptos tonight, the important thing is look where the price was trading back here in August of 17, right? Look where this was trading, December 17th, right? Look where it's trading now, right? To me, this is very strong. Part of it is because you had this big upswing, but there's a big fundamental picture here. This is strength, in my opinion. This is relative strength. So now let's kind of flip that on its head, and let's look at something that's doing the opposite. Let's take a look at, let's look at 0x, right? This is a little bit different story. We had a big run up. This is the Coinbase headline and Coinbase listing, right? And look at what happened to this thing. We've actually broken through these September lows. And if we look back to when it first came out here, look where we're kind of at. The next support is down here at 35. This thing, we've broken through this 45 support. When I made my lines a little bit earlier today, 45 wasn't broken. we've broken down this. We ran all the way to 40. I mean, this thing to me, we're coming down here to test 35s. Probably going to bounce back. I see 0x going all the way back to 16 to 26. You know, I think we're going to be in this range. This is kind of when it ICO'd or came out in Poloniex. And I think one of the reasons why is you're seeing Bitcoin roughly 80% of the market. Bitcoin is correlated to 80% of the market, right? And so Bitcoin's going to drag a lot of different cryptos down. But I think if you're trading right now, if you're looking at Ripple in terms of Bitcoin, that's where there's going to be a lot of value in alpha generation. Whereas something like this looks incredibly weak to me. Kind of the opposite picture of what we saw with Ripple, right? So that's just something to be mindful of is look at these levels. I mean, it's pretty clear. You have low here, you have this channel here, this kind of range. It's pretty cookie cutter. And then you're seeing volume. I mean, you had these big spikes in volume and now it's kind of returned back to normal. It's very bearish. And then let's look at another Coinbase listing. Let's take a look at BAT. So basic attention token got listed on Coinbase about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now. And we saw this thing run all the way up to 40 cents. Now, again, it's a little bit different listing because they only listed it in USD coin rather than fiat currency. So I think there may be a trade there down the road when they list it in fiat currency for normal kind of trading. But similar scenario. Look, we broke this key support here at 21 cents. And then we had another kind of resistance level, support level right here at 18 cents. We popped through that today. And there's a little trend line I've been watching right here. We broke through that. We came back, retested this. This thing is going to continue going off. And then if you look, this is kind of a downward channel, right? Downward wedge from this low to this low. I mean, I think we're honestly going all the way back down to 11 cents. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing. We're going to break this 13 cents. That's a key level. And then who knows? We could theoretically, you could trade all the way down to a penny. And that's crazy to me because this thing was trading 40 cents 2 weeks ago. And now it's trading 18 cents. But what is the silver lining is, you know, that provides a good opportunity when it comes to risk reward. If you're diligent, wait for these support levels that we're going to see in the next 2 to 6 weeks, you'll be able to scoop things up really, really cheap and see a nice return. Another story. Let's take a look at Dash. This is something we looked at really heavily over the summer is Dash. You can see we kind of have our downward trend line here. This trend line from these lows to here, this cracked, right? It all timed up with when Bitcoin cracked 6,200. Again, this pattern is pretty prominent throughout a lot of the altcoins. We broke this and we kind of staggered down. And then look, we broke these lows today. We broke 133 and look what happened. We traded all the way down to 112. That's a 20% move. And now we're trying to find some feet, but this thing's going lower. So if I were to turn this off, check this out. This is where we're going to go. We're coming all the way back down here to about $80. And guess what? If we break $80, you know, this thing could flash all the way down to the teens. But kind of my